Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Goffstown School Board meeting. I call the meeting to order at 6:01. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight. There is no correspondence, right?
There's none this evening.
Okay, and then public comment, I see none. So we're here to talk about the warrant articles and recommendations on them. So Scott, you want to go through?
Sure. Article 1, there's no recommendations on that. It is election of officers, and there is one member to be chosen for the school board for 1 year, and that was Nicole Bump's position that Lauren has filled, and there'll be one more on top of that one. And there's 3 members of the school board for the ensuing 3 years. So, and then there are 3 other articles. The first one, Article number 2, is the operating budget. And at the public hearing that the Budget Committee conducted, I don't know if Jared, if you want to, raise anything there, but Jared did the presentation. There was really not a whole lot of discussion afterwards, and they voted, right? So.
Yeah, so, it was an opportunity to hear from the public about if we should change anything. There were a couple of members of the public expressing their thoughts. I thought at the time, for the Budget Committee being your representative, to not change any dollar amounts, not to try to get our proposed physics field trip back in or anything like that. I know I kind of polled a couple of you individually that were there. So I just did move to recommend the proposed budget that the Budget Committee had, which was less than our proposed budget. But I thought it was a prudent thing to do to get as close to unanimous as we could get. I would say that even though the minutes aren't official, it was 14-1 for recommending, which is better than the prior year. So it stands with what we got. So the only thing that's removed is the physics trip and all quote-unquote elected stipends and corresponding monies associated with that. Everything else they accepted that we presented.
All right, so with that, and now with Jack here, so for the minute taker, Jack arrived at 6:03, 6:04. There needs to be an affirmative motion, right, Jared?
So I'll vote to recommend the proposed operating budget in Article 2 as presented. This was, again, recommended by the Budget Committee in the amount of $57,152,484, which accounts for all 3 of the accounts in the warrant article.
All right, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
By Shane. Is there any further discussion?
We have
ahead,
a
Dan.
letter from the attorney's office talking about perhaps striking the capital letters of the words of the amount. Is that something?
Make them lowercase?
No,
No.
just
Just
eliminate
take-
them.
eliminate them
Because I
completely.
tell you what, I read that and it's more confusing, the words. And the only time I like to see words is when you write it out on a check, because that makes you think about what you're doing. But anyway, I'm okay with not having it, but I don't know if that's something that we wanted to.
I would be personally fine with it. I find it equally as challenging as you, but I thought that it was something that we had to do year over year.
Okay.
And seeing it in our legal counsel's recommendation, I would feel comfortable removing it.
Am I allowed to be here?
Oh,
course.
absolutely.
Sure.
Just-
Okay, I
you
didn't see
can-
anybody else.
Yeah, have a seat. We just,
Sorry to interrupt.
no
You're
worries.
our public.
So do you guys want to get rid of the letters? Go ahead, Betty.
I guess I'm wondering how the town represents their warrant articles. It would be, I think it would be wise to just keep them
Keep consistent.
consistent. I know that on the check, it's to eliminate any typos. I think, the same could be said about the warrant article. Just who knows? I mean, no one anticipates that, but if it's the legal counsel's advice, but it would be great if we were consistent with.
I can't get, as you know, I couldn't guarantee that, and if it's something you wanted to wait till next year and conversations like that could happen, that's entirely up to you. I am indifferent on it myself. Personally, my personal opinion is that it seems a little too much. But I didn't think about your thought process in terms of it being different than the town.
Right.
So if it's something that you wanted to hold off on, and then I would share the legal opinion with the town for next year, I can do that too.
And can I just ask, has it always been this way? I think it
so.
has been.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, I
Yeah.
think. It's
Yeah.
always been confusing
Right.
to me, having to read it.
To read.
It's,
Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Just rereading the attorney's recommendations, he does say in Article 2, I have begun recommending the district. So this seems to be a
New thing.
new thing that, for whatever reason, this attorney is considering. So I don't think we're out of the realm of, it sounds like we wouldn't be out of the realm of it being unusual to keep it.
Right. So what does everybody think? I mean, this is something new that we
well,
just,
unless Jared amends his motion.
Right.
The motion's on the floor to keep it.
I think the other thing to just kind of consider is like, some people can easily read the numbers, some people can't, like it written in number form. Other people have a really hard time with that potentially, and I think you just want to make sure you are,
everybody can read it.
you're catering to all different abilities.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Amending motions, nothing? Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? We're unanimous.
All right, that's 900.
Yep.
The next article is Article 3. This is the Facilities Capital Reserve Fund deposit of $300,000. You'll recall that initially the school board had suggested $400,000, and then working with the Budget Committee, there was consensus to reduce that to $300,000, and the Budget Committee likewise voted to recommend the CRF deposit by a vote of 14-1-0. So we need a motion on this as well, in the
Yeah.
affirmative.
Anyone?
I'll make the motion to accept Article 3 as presented.
All right, I have Retta makes a motion. Do I
Did
have
you
a
say
second?
accept or recommend?
Recommend.
Thank you.
Do I
That's
have-
exactly what I
I'll
said.
second. And Ginny will second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Abstaining. All right, so we have one nay, so it's
8-1-0.
8-1-0. Yep.
Okay. And then lastly is Article number 4. This is a petition warrant article. This has to do with publishing check registers. Again, for those of you who might not know, Lauren, you'll be one of those, and Jack perhaps, but our school district council reviews the warrant articles. The DRA does a pre-review, but ultimately, they always defer to school district council. You have a copy of that. Essentially, there were two issues with this particular petition article, and I have the original here. So our attorney stated that the petition warrant article is defective in form because the language has to be on every page in which there's a signature, and this was not. So therefore, and the rationale there is people might not necessarily know what they're signing. So with that, the warrant article is deemed defective, and it would not be his recommendation for you to put it on, but it's your call ultimately. The other thing is that typically petition warrant articles, any warrant article for that matter, should always be phrased as a question. So it doesn't say, directing, shall the, usually it's a shall type thing, and again, there's no question here. So it's defective for one, and secondly, it's not worded correctly. So ultimately, it's the board who decides what goes on the ballot. So that's your decision. I will also share with you and for the public who, the school has historically, since I've been the business administrator, it was actually before I was business administrator, there is what's called a manifest summary sheet that gets distributed and is part of the minutes. That manifest summary sheet has all of the payments that are made to all of our vendors over $5,000. So in terms of transparency, et cetera, I think there is an argument to be made that that is the case. Check registers, they would have to be redacted because there is unique information, especially for special education students. So when we get an invoice, you might have the student's initials, or we might have parents who were reimbursing for special ed transportation. You would know who they were. So it would take time to kind of go through and redact those names on that. Other than that, so I would say the vast majority of the check register is public information, but there are components that do have, more private, information. So there are some school districts that do it, not all do. So if this is something that you wanted to do going forward, we can, but just recognize that there is time that's needed to do those redactions, and publishing a check register and doing a manifest summary would be duplication of effort and more administrative time to do it. So, because we use the check register to make the manifest summary, so if we publish a check register and redact, then there wouldn't be a need to do the manifest summary because you're getting everything anyway, if you understand what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Go ahead, Rheta.
I have all sorts of questions. I'll start with one and let other people ask questions, and I'll go at the end. So they also, in this petition, they said anybody could request this under the right to know anyways, and it would still take a lot of time. But I'm not sure how many people actually ask to see it, given that we do the manifest. So ultimately, it could result in more time, but.
I could disclose, so in my 7 years, it's been 2 requests, and they've both been from the state of Florida.
Okay.
The state of Florida?
Yes.
Is it because of the EFA program is
I have
managed
no
out of
idea.
Florida?
I have no idea.
Just curious.
I don't ask who they are, why they're, that's not my
Why
my
do you
job.
have to give information about
Be-
our school to Florida, excuse me?
Because the law doesn't say that I can't, that I have a way.
It doesn't discriminate
discriminate.
against any individual who requests it.
Did you have a question or
Would that
statement?
pass the efficiency study if you're sending information about our school to every state in the United States?
You're putting me in a tough position. I believe that the SAU office complied with the right to know law, Ginny.
Excuse me.
I-
So-
I'm sorry.
That's right, you had your hand up. Did you have a question or a
Yeah.
statement?
If our lawyer said that this really, the petition is not done correctly, and he said, but you said that it's our choice whether we accept his opinion or not?
Yeah.
Is this like a valid opinion, and if we accept it, is the state going to accept that? Or are
Yes.
they going to come
If
back
you were
and say?
to, I think you're asking me, if you as a board decided not to put this on the warrant,
What's
would
gonna
you be, yeah, you would be totally fine to do so. Yep, because the state defers to that of your legal counsel, and your legal counsel is saying that it's defective, so you would be within
And
your rights to do
Do you
so.
have that like in writing, so we can
It
go
is,
back
it,
at
it,
it
It's on the
afterwards?
back of
it's
your
in,
sheet
it's in
in
your,
front of
it's
you.
in his letter to you.
Yeah.
And then furthermore, as I mentioned, it couldn't go on the ballot as it's been written here, because it's not phrased in the form of a question. So there's 2 things that are wrong with this. It's defective for one, because it wasn't done properly, and secondly, it's not in the form of a question. So, but that's your That's in your
Go ahead, Jared.
wheelhouse, not mine.
So, Scott, I know that we're taking your word as kind of gospel here, excuse the term if you will. But is it our ability to say what goes on the warrant for a petition warrant article, or is it the moderator that would actually direct us to place this on the warrant?
It's yours.
It's the governing body.
The governing
The
body.
governing body?
The moderator just facilitates the meeting and controls the meeting, but it's the governing body.
Does the
decides.
moderator also control the process for the voting day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And he also, if there were any changes, but correct me if I'm wrong, Scott.
Yeah.
If we wanted, as a board, to add a warrant article tonight.
Yes,
That did not have a financial impact.
Yes.
Because the budget committee would need to see it, we could do it ourselves.
you got it.
So if we
That's
wanted
why,
to take
yeah.
if we think this was a petition and in a spirit, they didn't follow the law, okay? So we're not required to add it. If we put it on, it would be our warrant article, not a petition warrant article.
Right.
In my opinion, because there weren't the necessary signatures done to the satisfaction of the law. So if, he had some things that say, and he came up with a question. Shall the district request the school district's website to include access to copies of the district check register? This is an advisory article and is not binding on the district. If we wanted to make that an article, we could.
Right. So what does everybody think? Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you. Just two clarifying questions, if I
Yeah.
may. So the attorney was saying that the signatures on the second page were not admissible because it could have been put to any sort of article. Do we have the required signatures on that first page? Is it 20 or 25 that's required?
25 are required, and only 19 on the first page satisfied that out of 20.
Okay, so it wouldn't, given that, it really doesn't have.
Standing.
It doesn't have standing. I want to respect what
Right.
the public is saying, but
Right.
they didn't make a presentation at deliberative to get more information. They're not here to clarify, or any members.
Well, no, there was
of the-
no deliberative yet.
Sorry, yeah, but it was presented at budget, excuse me.
Right.
And although they didn't have, they could have spoken to it, but there was no discussion about it. There was no one from the public willing to stand up and clarify at that
I need to
point.
clarify.
Please.
This petition warrant article did not have an appropriation attached to it like the town petition warrant article did. Because the town's petition warrant article, that was the government efficiency, had a dollar amount, the budget committee would need to weigh in on that. Fair? This one does not.
Right.
And therefore, it did not come up at the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. And there's no member of the public tonight to clarify this for us, so we would be able to follow in the spirit of
I
it.
put that petition in.
Oh, go ahead, Jared.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as a question, if we put this on for deliberative session, then are we required to, if we put on for deliberative session, to review and to allow comments, do we must put it on the warrant, or it must be on the ballot? Because I thought there have
You
been
would-
times
you
where we
would-
have gone in deliberative session with something, but it
You
wasn't
can't
actually
take
put.
something off the ballot, but you would have to amend it at deliberative session.
And it would have to be the petitioner to amend it.
Or anyone.
No,
Anybody.
Anyone can amend it
Anybody.
at the deliberative session. A school board member can.
Well, that's true,
Can
but,
amend it.
because I know last year we had a petitioner amend.
So, if I may, if this were not to go on the ballot, the warrant, but yet the board wants to publish this, you're still doing what the petitioners wanted. I told you that we could do that, but I just wanted to be respectful of the administrative time that it takes. So if you want to publish the check registers, they have to be redacted, and that takes some time.
Right.
If you want to do that and do the manifest summary form, that's more work, administrative work. So if you wanted to publish the check registers and redact them and forego the manifest summary, then it would be about an equal amount of time. But to do both, you're probably looking at an extra hour, hour and a half every time you do it, because you have to prepare it. You have to make sure that things are not on there that should not be visible because of privacy reasons. Because I do that on that manifest summary. If you remember, years ago, I used to even put down, this is an out-of-district placement, it was one kid, or vision services, one kid, and then it was like, wait, everyone knows there's only one child who has vision challenges, and everyone knows who it is. So we went away from that too. So we try to do the best we can on that, but just recognize that whatever we do, we have to redact if we do this.
Go ahead, Retta.
Going on my second. I
Yeah,
may
go
have
ahead.
more. I guess I just want to make a comment that I don't think publishing the check register is going to be a useful mechanism for the general public and for our board meeting, because in the board meeting, it's organized in a way that you understand generally what it is. If we start having to look through several, anything under 5,000, if it's not categorized, if it's not presented in a useful way, I think that's not efficient. It's not an efficient use of our time or the public's time for getting a sense of where our money is going. And I also say that in general, it's like, I wish we could do this differently. I wish that input had been given so that the petition was presented in the proper way that wouldn't put us in this circumstance, but a certain part of me is like, let's put it out there, but we need to correct the language, and I don't want the school board to put this language forward, because then it looks like we want to do this, which from me personally is not my perspective.
Thank you, Retta. Anyone else? Go ahead, Jack. Oh, sorry,
What-
Carolyn. Go ahead,
What
Jack.
are our challenges of putting it on with the wrong wording? None really. Does the wording have to be changed, or is it?
It has to be changed. It has to be in the form of a question. You just can't, what are people voting on?
So what's the remedy then for, could be amended, has
Yes.
a question
If you put it
by
on as
someone other
is,
than the school board?
anyone can amend it at deliberative session, and the attorney provided you with a two-sentence
Right.
change that would suffice.
But we would have to make sure it got amended to make it proper to be voted on?
Yes. And even if it's voted on in the affirmative, it's still advisory. There's nothing
Right.
binding, there's no
Right.
legal
Gotcha.
requirement. Obviously, you have the citizens of a community asking you to do something, so, one would think you would, but you're not bound by any legal reason to do it.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Are you familiar with what Bedford does?
I'd have to look at their
Yeah.
website. So there's
I
a
went
few-
to the website and I could not find it. I looked for it, and I didn't see it.
A lot
Just
of,
'cause
every
it's out
town
there
and
doesn't
school
mean
does
it's
things
true.
does things, differently. We're one of the few communities that does this manifest summary sheet, to be honest. And I don't know, Dan, you were on the board a lot longer, is that something that was created before you, or was that?
Oh, yeah. First day I sat here in, 13 years ago? We were doing it,
Okay,
yeah. And I think if we asked Michelle, I think she was doing it,
okay.
which
So, and I
was
think-
even when I was
and
on the
again,
budget committee.
That's something that I don't know if, folks are aware of. That's something that this school board, and New Boston for that matter, has traditionally directed the business administrator to compile, which does demonstrate, the intended purpose of this, being transparent and fiscally responsible. So,
Right. Lauren, did you have your hand up?
I did, thank you. Do we have the manifest summary available to the public
Yes.
on the website? I just haven't.
part
been
of the
able to-
minutes, every
It
minute.
is, it is.
It could go on a separate, we could do that. It's just a matter of putting it in a different spot on the website.
I was just wondering to make it
Yeah.
more accessible, because sometimes the minutes are
Yeah, I get it.
87 again, to try to,
Yes.
to help the folks, and again, the spirit or the intention of the warrant article, say, well, here's the information that we get. The treasurer goes through it every time, there's a meeting to say, here's what we paid out, so maybe if it was more accessible, that it would be.
Technically, it's not paid out yet. We have to approve it before the
Right, yes,
treasurer
thank
pays
you,
it.
you're good, right, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Covering this.
Yes. Go ahead, Jenny.
I'm kind of not understanding what information a person in town is going to get from a check to somebody for this amount. Like, is that going to generate a right to know for what is check 233?
And anything and everything is possible.
So are you going to have to redact those checks and then afterwards do a right to know for, I
Well,
don't
let's-
understand, because most people are not going to, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, this amount of money went to that person for what? I don't know what this information is going to give people
Well,
on the street.
I will share with you that the majority of the checks that are written are to vendors, businesses.
Right, yeah, I
Um,
know that. So-
And it's, we're not talking about payroll type checks.
Mm-hmm.
But these accounts payable checks, admin and finance, so that's, Caroline, Heather, Dan, and sometimes Jared or others who sit down on them.
Right.
They are privy to getting the check registers, and then they see that compiled version, which is the manifest summary, which represents typically 90 to 95% of all payments, because there's very few that are under $5,000. So, and you can see that in the manifest summaries form. It'll say that, this is the subtotal of all those, payments, and then there's usually not that much left between the actual manifest and then what hasn't been detailed on that report.
Right. Dan?
Procedure-wise, we do not yet have an Article 4. I think the first thing we have to do is whether or not, as a group, we accept a flawed petitioned article. If we do, then we go to the recommend, not recommend
Yes.
status.
Yes.
If we do not, then we get to go to the next agenda item.
So really, I think, Dan, thank you for steering us and for the sake of time. So I would agree, I would concur with Dan in the sense that the board should vote whether or not to accept this
Right.
as it was done, in the proper way. And if you believe that to be the case, then you put it on the ballot. If you don't, if you think it's defective, then you don't put it on the ballot. And then that's the easiest way of dealing with it.
So what does everybody think?
When's the last time we did not accept the opinion of our attorney? As a group, not personally.
Yeah.
Glad you added that last part. I don't know, not everybody knows what the law is, not everybody knows what the procedure is, something that's not done very often. I would hate to say, okay, we have members that came together, tried to at least understand or tried to get something in front of us. They did it the best way that they thought they could. I have no problem accepting this. I have no problem tonight voting to not recommend and giving them an opportunity to correct it at deliberative session. The way that I look at this is, we should be trying to not only represent people, but trying to listen to people, regardless of what this says. Somebody made an effort. And, let's respect that effort that they made, and if they come to deliberative to amend it or to change it, great. If not, then one of us can always amend it to be what it should be, because we understand the spirit of what is trying to be delivered. I don't want to try to brush this off on a technicality, because, how many times have we heard people, oh, they didn't accept a case at the court system because of a technicality, or they didn't have standing. That pisses people off. And I'd rather try to at least say, okay, these are some of the members of our constituency. Let's at least give them the opportunity to address this. So that's the way that I would go on this, is let's take it, vote to not recommend, being able to talk about it deliberative, and make the appropriate changes there.
Did I hear a motion there
No,
somewhere?
that was just my commentary. If we want to go past commentary and make a motion, I'd be happy to, but I don't want to do that without other people expressing their
Okay,
voices.
so I'm ready to move along.
Okay.
So just one quick clarification, don't you need 25 names, and there's only 19, so does that make
Well,
this?
no, 19 on page 1. There was an additional.
Yeah, but
I
on
should
page
correct
2.
that. According to the vote to the supervisor of the checklist, 18, 20 signatures on the front page, and they rejected 2 and accepted 18. So I want to clarify that.
But don't, you
On
have
the
to
front
have.
page, what about the second
The
page?
second
Second
page,
page.
which was, again,
The
not
second page
Not
can't be
accepted.
not
Right, understand.
proper.
Did,
There
did,
was 9 that were accepted, 2 rejected.
so 9 plus 18 is 27, with the minimum is 25.
But
So the
if the
spirit-
second page doesn't have
The words.
words, is it non, if it's,
Correct.
is it
the-
invalid?
That's what,
It's not legal.
It's not
defective,
legal.
not invalid,
Well,
defective.
not even
But does
defective.
it follow the spirit of what they were trying to do, what Jared was trying to say?
But what I'm trying to understand is even if we accepted this, not recommend,
Yep.
we put it on, can you put it on the ballot? Because it doesn't have the 25
The
signatures.
attorney said yes.
Even without the 25 signatures?
With,
Said yes?
I didn't think he
Yes.
said yes.
well, that's what I thought I heard Scott say.
Ultimately, it's always the
It's up to us.
the school
Okay.
board's decision. And again, it's kind of what Dan alluded to. It's like you have your attorney's assessment.
Yep.
Ultimately, you can either take your attorney's assessment or you can
Right.
not. So it's
All
not.
right, so what is,
So
go
if I
ahead.
may.
Yeah.
Is it, like when we look at the standard, is it more likely than not that the signatures on page 2 read the statement on page 1, and that's what they were signing for? That is what we.
You can't
You
assume.
have no way
We
of
don't know
knowing.
for sure. That's why I said, is it more likely than not?
We can't comment on that.
Well, you have to. You're a juror. You're the one sitting in the box,
Election.
Same
Okay.
28.
and
Go
you have
ahead.
to
Same
make that
28
decision.
names on all
Go ahead,
on
Jack, what was
mostly all
that?
those warrant articles, so I'm gonna say they all read it.
You'd be
Pretty
incorrect.
consistent list of names.
Were the
no?
ones for the town that had names non-defective? Do we know?
The petition warrant
Well,
articles
Jack
for the
just
town?
said something.
What? Oh, I don't know about the ones for the,
Because you said they were,
I said if you go through the list of names, they're pretty
That-
consistent.
Jack, you're
with
not
some.
accurate on that,
Okay.
unfortunately. There are names on that second page that you're not accurate on that. I'm sorry to say.
All right. So what are
It's
we
not
doing?
the same people over, it's not.
No, I didn't say it's the
Oh.
same people.
Other
I'm saying
articles?
if you look at the warrant articles that have come before the town in this board, from the same group of people, the names
Yeah,
are
no,
fairly consistent.
Yes, that is
from
fair. That's a
one
fair
warrant
statement.
article to the other article, so I assume that they all read this like they read the other ones.
Right.
That's what I was saying. And
So what
I
do we
tend
wanna
to fall
do?
in Jared's thing where if we not recommend and let the people speak and see if it can be amended.
So first we have to accept or not accept. So I would need a motion to accept or not accept this warrant article, and then vote, and then we would vote to recommend or not recommend.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Jenny.
I'm uncomfortable with really not having the number of legal signatures, because certainly there are all kinds of people in town that they could have contacted. Our representatives are around, and they're always willing to give out information. So in that they did this and didn't have it checked, or at least ask the question of, how do you do this? Kind of concerns me, because if you do something like this and you're serious about it, you know that voting things, there are laws that go with it, so that concerns me. We paid an attorney for an opinion, and then throwing the money out and then going and doing whatever we want kind of concerns me.
Can I clarify one point?
Go ahead, Scott.
Our school attorney reviews our warrant articles regardless of whether there's a petition warrant article or not. It is the standard
Okay.
operating procedure, and we did not ask for a special opinion because of this. They review a
Okay.
warrant, okay?
Okay.
Just wanted you to know that, and they do it every year.
Okay.
And he does say it could be amended at deliberative, the lawyer did. Go ahead,
If
Retta.
it's not amended, then and it's voted on and people vote for it, then what? Then we would be held to this,
negative.
No,
no.
It would be a suggestion to the school board to direct the superintendent. That's all it does.
Go ahead, Lauren, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't know if the conversation was continuing. I was just going to make a motion.
Go
Let
for
me
it.
Go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
I would make a motion to, that we accept Article 4 as a petition warrant article, even though it may be flawed. I don't want to put this in the motion, but to bring it to warrant, and then we can vote on whether we recommend it or not.
Okay.
My reasoning is similar, is I don't want to squash the public's interest. I don't want to squash their request. I think it is, I agree with the signatures. I don't think it's a good use of administrative time and money. But if this is what the voters are looking for, I don't want to say, I'm more in favor of bringing it, amending it, or just us saying, well, this is what the public said, this is what we're offering, we're being transparent, here it is. I don't recommend it, but it's on to the voters. So that is the reasoning behind my motion to move it forward.
So your motion is to accept.
Yeah, to accept Article 4 for the
Okay.
petition warrant article.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jack. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, this gives us, if we accept this, this will give us the opportunity to actually discuss it
Yeah.
in a much larger area, because otherwise than that, you can imagine where it's going to be discussed.
Yes. All right.
I think it is more likely than not that the signatures on page 2 are totally connected to the statement on page 1.
Okay. So I have a motion to accept. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, we're unanimous to accept.
Okay, so now you'll have to make a recommendation.
Right.
Or not recommendation.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion,
Oh.
we not recommend Article 4.
So Dan,
I'll
not,
second.
not recommend, and Retta seconds.
And the comment for the minutes would be, we already do this, and we do it in a better and a more efficient manner. And if that's not good enough, please come to deliberative and let us know what it is.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. So I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any other discussion or comments?
Can I just say one thing? Is that okay? Or-
No, sir, I'm sorry. If you had been here for public comment, we could have,
I'm
or,
sorry.
that's okay, or talk
It's
to
just that I
us.
figured I could help pull the wool back on some of your questions.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate, I
To-
just
to
wish
answer
we
the
had known
questions as
that.
to why things were done the way they were.
You're right, and we can talk
For your
after.
benefit.
But unfortunately, we didn't know you were coming, and we could have had you at public comment and
Okay,
discuss.
yeah, the select board invited us last night.
Okay, yeah, the board just found out about it, so we can discuss after the meeting, but unfortunately, I can't have you speak during the
And I
meeting.
appreciate everything that you guys do, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
I just wanted you to understand a few things and how this process went aboard, because we did it too quickly. We
Yeah.
didn't have any time.
Okay, well, we can talk after.
Okay,
right.
thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
And the ayes is to not
Not
recommend.
recommend, yes.
So it's
So
a
aye.
backwards vote, okay?
So an aye to not recommend.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All right, we are unanimous.
901?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the one?
I'm sorry, 900.
900.
Thank you.
Dang, I was just.
And I agreed with
Yeah,
you.
you're just saying if we still listening.
All right, so is that it? There's nothing else on the agenda
No.
tonight?
No, there's not.
And no, non-public, right?
There is no
Right.
non-public.
Motion to adjourn.
In just one second. If any, well, I hadn't finished. If anybody
I'm
has
just
your,
trying.
your valuations, could you give them to me tonight? We sent an email reminding, or if you can't, can you email it to me tonight or tomorrow so I can type it up for Monday, please? All right, thank you. All right, so now, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, motion to adjourn, please.
All right, second?
Second.
By Shane. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. All right, thank you guys for coming in last minute, and we'll see you Monday night.